Now this gets into a tricky area. What if you are witness to someone else who's had a spell cast on them and they don't know it? It's affecting their lives. Can you do anything to help them? Because this whole law of non-interference thing, how does that work?
In my school, Light Song, that I founded, this is a topic that comes up quite a bit. Ethically, you never fix somebody. Now, in the realm of spells, it's called spawning. The spell spawns because the more people that get involved in the understanding and give verbiage to it, give thought to it, it makes it bigger and spawns out. It's almost like little.
So then at what point are you actually entangled in it and part of that yourself?
As soon as you get involved.
And so then if you're now involved, can you work with a shaman in breaking the originating spell? Because it's not just the original person, but others who are now affected?
Yes and no. There are levels of involvement that the shaman would be willing to. You can do anything, Regina. I mean, you can do anything. It's just that the ethics fall into a karmic kickback.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be careful. You have to really be like, who are you working for, and what is the intent in that you're trying to do? And if you're working with, and I worked with a person that their wife was very, very involved in a deep curse, and I worked with him because it was directly affecting him, but did all the work on him. But she eventually was released because we cleared it out of him. So there is this connecting energetic lines that can be very effective, that in healing him, she was indirectly healed enough that she got her senses to herself of what was going on.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
What about the notion of beneficial spells and curses, where you're wishing for someone else some wonderful outcome on something? So they're not casting a glamour on someone, fall in love with me, but you're wishing for them something good to happen.
They're all the same. The difference here would be in the verbiage of a curse is to cause harm.
Mm-hmm.
A blessing is to cause good fortune.
Is there a karmic kickback on that?
A good one. Yeah. If it's done in love, absolutely.
I hope you're enjoying this video, because if you are, there are dozens more like it on my site, all supported by people like you. So if you'd like to keep this work rolling in and join our community, just click on the Patreon button at reginameredith.com. That also gives you access to insider commentary, my live book club, and other live events with special guests. So join in. Thanks.
Now, where it gets sticky is and I think I sent you an example of this, or we talked about it one time, where let's say that somebody's involved in a church, okay, and they have these very defined rules around who you're supposed to marry and who you're supposed to fall in love with or date or whatever. And you sway from that, okay, and you're swaying from that, and you're trying to live your life, and the church, your parents and the church, is praying for you to come back to the folds.
Yeah.
So they're seeing it as prayer.
You're seeing it as a spell to bind you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so it's just all this intentional stuff that, it falls back on, what is your intention? What are you trying to? Are you trying to control another person? or are you trying to help them be free, and let them have their own choices, which is shamanically a good thing. It's called the allowing. You allow people to be who they are and what they believe, and not try to control somebody else. And so, there's so many gray areas, and it
There
gets
really are. And there's so many people, especially parents, who watch their kid get involved in this or in that, or they're naive and someone takes advantage of them or casts spells on them. And it's just a horrible thing of helplessness when you see someone young or naive who's taken in this way, and you feel you can't do anything about it.
you can do a lot through love
Just sending love.
and working on your own self, in how much you've invested in fueling the curse, getting your own life force out of it. The more life force that comes out of the curse, the weaker it becomes. And so the parent has to say, how much have I fueled this? How much of me is caught in there? So again, you're working on yourself, which stays then in the laws of ethics, or the laws of what you would want to be good karma. And you're still crippling the curse by taking a lot of life force out of it.
Yeah, that
whatever you speak about, you invoke. Okay. And that's a law of energy. It's one of those things, whatever you add energy to multiplies. Okay, which I said earlier. And so all of that is life force. Because life force is often attached to emotion.
right.
So the more emotional you get, the more life force you're losing of yourself to fuel something. And so if you can stay out of it personally and just look at it
Objectively, yeah.
thank you. That word just wasn't coming out. It's much easier. And that's why a practitioner is always good to get involved, because they're not going to be emotionally attached. And the training at our school is, we don't get involved in this either. We don't do any of the unraveling. The benevolent spirits do. I always say, do never reach into a curse yourself, because as soon as you do, you're putting your own life force in there. So we stand back, let the allies do the work, and watch and sort of channel or give the information to the client, but we're observing. We are not doing it ourselves. And a lot of people get too hasty, and then they get themselves caught in something themselves.
That's interesting, because I remember working with my own guides many years ago. They said, if you want something done, if you want to intend something, because we would do instant healings and healings on people, which were effective. They were very, it worked really well, but they said in many cases, it's better to actually turn it over to the guides, because they can look at it from a very nuanced point of view. And it might be, if you're projecting for this place in this body to be healed in this way, that's not exactly it. There may be something else in there you're not aware of. To put the intention of the end effect out there, the wonderful end effect, but let it actually be done. Let the heavy lifting be done by the guides, who can see, and the spirit of the person who can see the details of what's needed. Right? Is that about what you're saying too?
Right. It's exactly right. And the spirits have said to me on numerous occasions, it's not my job to fix it. My job is to hold the frequency of energy.
Yes.
Yes. They'll do the fixing. You just sit still and hold the frequency. Okay.
I think that's
I have found
really
that to be
important.
very effective. Yeah.
Very important to bring up, because otherwise people will dive in there and get all sticky amidst all of the energy and such.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you might also want to consider joining Patreon, which allows me to keep all of this content free and available to everyone. And if you're looking for like-minded souls, you might also enjoy my online community called Our Neighborhood. Links to join are in the description.